Greetings, Star Trek Fleet Commanders. I am the Angry Rhino. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. As you can see on the screen here, what am I going to be talking about today? The G5 Epic ships. Now, it has been requested by at least one person, more probably, a few people, curious as to what I think about these ships. To a certain extent, the principle in my decision making, or my advice to you, is going to be relatively the same at each stage. Even, let's say, for the, the G5 rares or G4 epics. Not that I think that you should still be going after them, but if you get the faction credit, then you get the faction credit, And for me, it's going to boil down to hostile grindability. Or whatever the right term there would be. Hostile grindability. What the hell was that? Hull health. Big shields are nice, but they recharge after every battle. To a certain extent, it doesn't really matter how big they are. Now in PvP, that's a little different. But at the same time, how does PvP really go? Bigger hull could serve you just as much as having bigger shields. I went with Rataran and Diderdex. Yes, I got two. Mostly because of the Armada chests for G5 are so fantastic. So fantastic, I'm kind of shocked that they were made. But let's take a look at the Enterprise. I know a lot of people love the Enterprise. Oh, it's the Enterprise, yay! I cannot stand the saucer design. I hate it. I think it looks stupid. It's just so dumb looking. Ugh. It's cool. It can come apart. Like you can't even do that in the game. So who cares? Oh God, it's so stupid looking. Let's take a look at the hit points. Because for me, like I said, that's the big thing. This is really kind of based on a few of my researches. Gets this number here. Yes, when you look into this screen here, the shipyard to ship's construction menu, you're going to see some of these numbers are affected by your research. But you can see 400 shield, 426 hull. Come to the Rotaran, yes, less shields. Yes, less shields. But 40 million more hull. Come to the Diderdex, yes, a lot less shields. How much more hull does this have than the Enterprise? So therefore, how many more hostiles can you grind with the Diderdex as per an Enterprise? Of course, now the downside, the Diderdex being a battleship, it's slow. It's much slower. Though there are officers and research that increase that. Make that relatively non-existent. I mean, it still exists, but you would feel it a little less with some of these researchers. Now, I do recommend you get two. Again, as you go through the G5 loop, you're getting all that Armada credit. You're going to have enough to pull a bunch of those Armada chests, the Epic chest, the Rare chest, the Uncommon chest. You're going to get a lot more faction credit than, let's say, the early adapters to G5 were getting. You're going to get enough to get two. I mean, I got my two, and I still got 2 million Klingon and faction credits each. You can get two. Get two. Might as well. Why not? You play around with all the cool ships. The ship abilities, I don't think are that good. Yes, okay, when your opponent is burning, you can increase the number of shots, and it's cumulative. Okay. It's only cumulative per round. So how many rounds do you need to get to actually get an extra shot? The increase, the little green number here, it starts out relatively low, in my opinion, and never really gets that high. It never goes above 2.2. An increase of 0.2 per round. Cool. That's so many. They're going to wait 3 rounds to get an extra shot. I mean, an extra shot is an extra shot, but how much is that actually helping you? Minimal. It's minimal help. Compared to, like, let's say the G5 Red, the Sanctus, and the Shield Strip. That's a big one. Bird of Prey here, the Rataran. Sure, I mean, extra crit damage is extra crit damage. Well, it's only like a few percent. I mean, even mine at tier 10 is like 17%. It's like, well, that's not. But that is every time you get a critical hit. So, in the first few rounds, you could get like another 50 or 60, 70% or something. Like, all right, I mean, yeah, sure. All right. It's not overwhelming. It's not like how the G3 Enterprise was. And that shield recharge that it could do. Nothing is that great. Except maybe the Sanctus and the shield stripping. The Enterprise here, it's only an increased damage of here base 80%. I don't even know what it is. It's what is it? What does it go up to? At max, it's not even. Here we got 1.97. So 197%, or 200% at max. Which isn't terrible, but at 200%, I mean, it's basically an exocomp. You know? It's not a whole lot. Especially when you're moving towards, let's say, isolytic damage being the more, where you're seeing a more damage increase. Though this will make you have a little bit more isolytic damage. Let's go here and show some of mine here. See, 17%. Now I'm only at level 48 because I haven't put all the levels on it because I don't really care. I'll get there, you know. Kind of waiting for a ship XP spend event. Maybe get a little extra currency or materials, especially when you level up to 61 and you're dealing with all this Sigma bullshit. Excuse me. Even here, I'm at 40 and I'm only, it says 0.2, but it is rounded up. It's like 1.8. It's not that good. Does it do that much? It's not an overwhelming advantage. It's not 1 or 2 extra shots after round 3. Meh. Assuming your battles are going that long. Right? Battles going that long? Depends on what you're hitting. But again, we'll look at the hull size. I got 1.29 billion here with a tier 9 to Daradex. I got 1.28 billion with a tier 10 Return. Yes, levels are going to affect that, but here level 48 versus level 40, and the one that's level 40 has a higher hull. Yes. Oh, what about damage, Rhino? You can kill the thing so much quicker with the other one. Meh, it's not too far off. For being a whole tier lower. It's only, what, 31 million less? We're talking about 189, almost 190 versus 220. It's not a whole lot of difference. What's this going to be at tier 10? That is the basic principle that this game has really followed since the beginning. Battleships are going to have higher hull. Explorers are going to have higher shields. Or it's going to be more hull focused as a battleship. More shield focused as a explorer. More balance / defensive stats focused as an interceptor. Same can be said with the factions. Romulans, a little more hull focused. Federation, a little more shield focused. Klingons, a little more balance. So when you factor that in with the epics here, because Romulan, battleship, so double whammy, right? Why you kind of want to go with the Romulan battleship versus, let's say, the Enterprise. Federation Explorer. Double whammy, focus on the shields. Not that that can't help you. It can help you. It's going to help you in an Armada, right? Your shields won't deplete. It can help you with certain officers, like let's say Janeway. Moving more more the damage that you're taking towards your shields. Increases the chances that you wouldn't have your shields drop. Because if you use a battleship and you're using Janeway and your shields drop, well then everything's going to the hull. So it's a good thing you got a bigger hull. But again, you can apply this principle and this thought process through every ship selection point, right? You're 60, you're 56, you're 53, you're 50, 46, 42, 34. When do you get to G3 rares? 32 or 30? Something like that. Because of the way hostile crews are designed, it's just get a little bit more benefit from having the extra hull or being more hull focused. But again, that would be hostile grinding. How does it work in PvP? Working as armadas. So when you do get up to 60 and you're making your epic ship selection, something you have to think about is, how's it going to go when you go into G6 if you decide to do that? I'm not saying that you shouldn't engage with G6. I sat at 64. I don't know how long. We have to check the tapes. I don't remember. Longer than I should have? I don't know. That's debatable. But I didn't want to. Like, I didn't want to engage with G6 because everything I was hearing about it, especially the hazards, made me think I was going to hate it. I wasn't going to enjoy G6. Well, guess what? I don't hate it. I mean, I hate it. I don't enjoy engaging with hazards. I hate it. It's stupid. It takes 8 minutes to get out to the dumbass systems, regardless of what ship. Of course, maybe an Enterprise will be a little bit faster, but at the same time, how much faster? Instead of 8 minutes, it'd be 7 minutes. So I have to sit there and wait 7 minutes for my ship to get there. Cool. Yeah, that's fun. And if you're not waiting, then guess what? You enter the system and you start taking damage. Because? Why? Well, because. How about this? I'm the captain of this ship. Go to the system. But you come get me when we're ready to go into the system. You know? Why can't that happen? I mean, planes circle before they can land on the runway. Right? How about circle the system until your captain gets back from his piss break or whatever. Snack break, drink break, smoke break. Because that's what people do when it's an 8-minute trip out there. But they'll say, hey, I'm back. Let's go in the system now. No, that's not what you do. Okay, cool. Of course, that's not really affected by you having more hull because the damage you take in hazards is based on percentage. So if you have 100 million and you lose 5% each second, it's still the same, because if you have 200 million, you're still going to lose 5% of that 200 million. Where with, let's say, an Enterprise, you're losing 5% of 100 million. But it's still, if that happens, 20 times, because you're losing 5% every time, 5 times 20 is 100%, you die. So, because you have no more hull. Oh, yeah. It is something to consider. And also something that might go into your thought process is, what factions do you want to progress with? I still recommend dual grinding your factions. If you're not going to go Klingon and Romulan, then you know what? You probably shouldn't get into Daredex and a Rotar. If you want to increase your Federation rep, well, you probably should get that ship, because it's going to help the grind go a lot more. It's going to help the grind go a lot faster. Right? Because you're going to get a boost in Federation rep gained with a Federation ship. You're going to get a a boost in Romulan reputation gained with a Romulan ship, and the same with Klingons. Also now, what happened this month is armadas. There are now G6 solo faction armadas. Not group armadas, because there's not enough people out there yet. Solo armadas. It's kind of like a continuation of the Bajoran loop, except it's a different directive set and a different currency. Cool. Even different than, regular faction armadas. Whole new different set of directives, whole new different set of currency. So I assume when enough people do get out here to G6, they're gonna make group armadas too. I don't know. Whatever, man. So again, would having this bigger or more shield focused ship help you in the armada? It can. Is an Enterprise better to take down an armada than a D'Derdex? To a certain extent, it does. Your crews do matter. Yeah, I know I got a weird crew on here, right? I have a loot-focused crew. Something I'm trying to figure out again. How I like to do solo armadas. Because I'm thinking about running this on a Rataran. Right? I got my loot booster. I got my critical chance man. And I got my burning. Oh, well, you gotta need hull breach. Well, Torres below for the hull breach. Giorgio up top for the burning. So I can run a max loot crew over here. I still get the benefit of the burning. An option. Was the best one? I don't know. Because if you notice, this is 120. Because I have the Doctor, this is 130. So actually, because I have spread them out between the two ships, I've tried to go Enterprise Picard, Enterprise Data in 5 on this ship and kill it, and it doesn't work yet. They're not hard, it's just, they're just bigger. Can't do that yet. So, I can't go for 300% loot. Right? Because you have your base 100% with 5 here, but it's 200%. I can't go 300%. But I don't want to put a 100% boost on this ship, bring a second ship because I feel I need a second ship here, and have nothing there. Because they're going to split. They're going to split the loot. And Rev talked about it, I've talked about it. The loot distribution is based on ship power, right? If you have 2.5 power between your two ships, the one is 1.5 and the other is 1, well, then what is that? 3/5 for that 1.5 power, 2/5 for that one that's 1 power. Going to distribute the loot evenly by that fraction. So by putting 100% here, 120 here, 130 in the other one, I am still doubling my loot. Whereas if I had nothing on this ship, then I wouldn't be. I'd just be doubling the loot gained from the one ship, not the entire battle total. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm not having too much problem with the loot gain. As I said, the armadas aren't that tough. So I don't know that you need to really make your ship selection based on, I need to take down these armadas. You're going to be fine. It's something you want to consider, and why I suggest getting 2. Do you want to skip the G6 uncommons? Well, I don't know yet. I just started my G6. My plan right now, again, the plan right now, when I fully reserve the right to change my mind later, I'm going to skip the G6 uncommons. Because why? Why? I'm not going to win any PvP battles with that G6 uncommon that I would have. I'm not going to win any extra PvP battles. I'm not. I would have lost to the person regardless. Most likely. And at the same time, it's like 5 players. For me anyway. When you get on a server with there's more population in here, maybe that would change. But for me, it's only a handful of players that I even have a chance at beating in the first place. 4 or 5 players tops. You know, the rest of the G6 players I think we're up to like 40 total right now. Like the top 25, I can't kill them anyway. So why? You know? Why get the G5 on G6 uncommon? I keep saying G5. Too many grades. Why get the G6 uncommon? Why? Why waste the time, the faction credit, the materials, which are now in shorter supply because they changed the materials again and they changed the resources. Now in shorter supply. As of right now, I'm not going to. But what you're going to want to do is max an epic. And you know what? Get 2 of them. Just so you can do the Armadas. Just so you can send both of them out till you do your hostile grind. Send one to the hazard system, send one to the other system. Because, spoiler alert, the hazard dailies, you only need to kill like 10 ships, but the faction dailies, you need to kill like 30. So instead of leaving the hazard system and going to the other system, just, send them both at the same time. So when you're done the hazard space, recall it and go kill with the other ship. It's an idea. These aren't hard and fast rules, okay? These are just suggestions. I mean, I haven't engaged that much with it. I mean, I feel like I just got to 60 a few months ago. Nowhere near an expert on it. There's so few people up here. There are very few content creators that you can go and get the expert advice from because there's only a few of us up here as far as the player base. It's kind of, I don't know. Whatever. And summarize this. Got me talking about G6 and how stupid I think it is. Whatever. Started this video out telling you which G5 epics, make sure I get the right thing there, which G5 epics I went for. Trying to give you advice and some information that maybe you haven't thought of, how to make your decision. I don't think the Enterprise is the best for hostile grinding. I just don't. So much less hull, and therefore you're going to get so many less hostile kills. Maybe that's just my opinion. Maybe it is in fact. Because who knows, maybe you have Tendy. Because I don't even use Tendy on these ships. Because I don't need to. You throw Tendy on your Enterprise, does it kind of tip the scales a little bit? Maybe. But I don't like the look of the Federation ships. I hate the saucer designs. They're so stupid looking. Giant pizza cutters. Whatever. Still, like the Daredevil, it just has so much hull and it has so much. It's a battleship. It was designed to kill a bunch of shit. But I also tried to explain the basic principle of what is the benefit of having an explorer or a battleship or an interceptor and the factions, because they're kind of in line with that as well. So you're kind of doubling up when you go Romulan Battleship, you're doubling up when you go Federation Explorer, and you're doubling up when you go Klingon Interceptor. I kind of like the Interceptor a little more than I think with the Daredevil, just because it's faster. Good God, how long do some of these hostile grinds take? Well, having more impulse speed can help that. It really can. But again, I like the power and survivability of the battleship here. That's kind of why I say get 2. Get 2. Look, if you love the Enterprise and you want the Enterprise, by all means, get the Enterprise. But get one of the other ones as well. It will make the game more enjoyable. Now, it might be a little harder to get the faction credit for both of them, but you know what? If you're dual grinding, which I think you should always be dual grinding, unless you lock 2 of the reputations and then you're trying to catch that one other one up, you should be dual grinding. Faction credit shouldn't be an issue. So please comment below. You understand the basic principles I'm saying between the factions and the ship types? Do you agree? And do you think I'm just crazy for hating all Federation ships and the way they look with their stupid saucers? If you engage with G6, Do you have any advice for a relatively new player to G6 that absolutely hates it because it's all stupid? New currencies. I cannot believe they changed the dilithium, the parsteel, and the tritanium. After all these years. Whatever. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I am the Angry Rhino. Shields up, Commanders.